All right, everybody, and welcome to episode number 42 of the Local to Global run as TNA in TEW 9. We just come off the end of the previous episode. If we look at UPW, oh wow, okay, they actually made money despite my best efforts. Wow. All right, well, I did have to redouble my efforts, although they're not making as much money as they probably could be. I'm fine with that, though, because we're also making a decent amount of money, although, again, the economy is still falling. As long as it kind of stays where it's at, we'll be fine. WWE is at a point now where most of their money is being made at the pay-per-view level, and WCW, where is it? There it is. Yeah, probably about the same thing. They've been hovering around 6 million for a while. I hope I can get to that point. That'd be nice. Make $6 million off of a pay-per-view instead of, just $100,000 is not bad based on for where we are. But I digress. CM Punk here is going to be crowned the figurehead in just a little bit here. Uh we won't find out until the time of the show. So we'll just have to see if that is a boon or a negative. So far, every single time, it has been a negative. We got Brock in the wings. I hope Punk works out. We'll just have to see. Uh, yeah, we haven't got many popularity points or any bonuses in some of these key areas where we really need it to be. So I need to double down on my efforts and actually making a good show. Bound for Glory is going to be the halfway point of the month. We got 2 shows before it and probably 2 shows after it. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and begin booking the first show and get right into it and see what happens as we go through this month. Alright, here we are. TNA Explosion number 21, held in front of 567 people. Now that you might look at that and go, hey, that number was higher than the week before. That must mean there's bonus, right? Right? No, CM Punk was a negative 25% modifier to everything. So he's not the figurehead anymore. Luckily, it didn't hurt his morale all too much. Brock Lesnar's been put into that spot, and John Cena's been made the heir. So we'll see how that works. It's like, well, didn't you try John Cena before? Yes. Yes, I did. But that was a while ago, like 3-4 years at this point. And I think it'll do a little better now. I'm hoping it'll do a little better now. But I digress. We start out Simon Diamond versus Matt Morgan, and Matt Morgan wins a 42 segment rating. We then follow it up with Dwayne coming out, and he announces that in the build-up to the pay-per-view, they're going to fight each other. The 4 competitors in the World Heavyweight Championship match are going to have matches against one another, and for tonight, it's going to be Styles and Lesnar and Cena and Punk. So that's 86 promo. Here we have, I'm actually surprised that this didn't get knocked for people not caring about it. The Miz and Shelton Benjamin defeated Cody Rhodes and Kazuchika Okada. 42 segment rating. Cody Rhodes debuted his gimmick. That is good. Oh, that was supposed to go at before. My bad. And about that had terrible wrestling announcers to credit. Galloway and Devitt defeated everybody else and won the match. Now, this had a lot of rustiness here. 4 different people. Half the match was rusty. Still got a 32. We then follow it up. AJ Styles comes out for his match, and Dwayne comes out and goes, actually, on second thought, Lesnar, can't be here today. He got stranded at the airport, so he can't be wrestling tonight. But I have just the alternative, and he brings out the Brainbusters, Lance Cade and Tomko. Whether or not that means they're allied with him is a little is unknown at this time, but they start the match. Wait a minute, that's Samoa Joe. Yeah, that's right. About halfway through the match, Samoa Joe runs into the defense of AJ Styles, mainly because he can. They have zero chemistry as tag team partners. That's fine. Still got a 49. And AJ Styles won that match. We then have a verbal confrontation between Punk and Cena. And as things get to a fever point, essentially, Cena's like, I deserve that shot at the title. Punk is saying he never got his shot at the title. Cena challenges him to put the title on the line. Punk says no, because Cena hasn't worn it, hasn't proven that he has earned that shot yet. They get back and forth, and eventually they come to blows and they start fighting. A 68 segment rating, one of the better matches of the night. Punk wins with a pedigree off the top rope and wins. Nice. 69 overall rating, and we did get some popularity in the other regions. About damn time. $5,000 in the hole. That's fine. Nothing gained a popularity point, but they all gained a little bit. Not enough to tick it over, but enough to just add. Whew! John Moxley has poor ring psychology. He's probably not worth keeping around. Thanks, Styles. IWA changed the live event to medium. And, oh, wait a minute. What's all this? All this rival bidding. Hey, look, New Jack won the NWA World Heavyweight title. Or World Tag Team title, sorry. Yeah, UPW, as I mentioned before at the start, UPW made money last month. So I endeavored to continue. Oh my god. To continue on that path. So quite legitimately, if we go through this, Big Schwag, I would have tried to, because he's technically a celebrity. He's not allowed to go anywhere else. Literally, everybody else, Kit Montana, I tried doing it before. They didn't even bother offering a contract, so they were fine with him going. Lash LaRue? No. Looney Lane works for Shimmer, so I can't do that. Mikey Henderson left here, went there. Rick Bassman, he is the guy in charge of the company. That's a lot of money. Oh yeah, Shane Ballard, they signed Shannon Ballard to letting go. Everybody. I signed everybody to a deal. Or at least I tried. I extended contracts, and I believe, after my math, it was about another $45,000 approximately. So yeah, $45,000. That should knock that out, hopefully. But that's what happened there. As I said before, Punk was a bad figurehead, so now I've got Lesnar and Cena up there as the heir and the heir apparent. Finances, we lost money there, but we should make money this month. There's not a lot else to talk about, not a lot else to go over, so I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording and pick back up with you after we get done with the next show before the pay-per-view. This is the go-home show, so I'll see you then. Alright, here we are, TNA Explosion number 22, held in front of 559 people in the Southeast. We start off the show with a opening match between Batista and Maven, non-title X Division matchup, and Batista wins in just under 8 minutes with a sit-out powerbomb, 55-second rating. We then follow that up with a promo. Dwayne Johnson comes down, berates Samoa Joe, saying that, yeah, you took advantage of the kindness, of the faith I had in you, and you've turned your back on the people. He's getting booed the whole time while he's doing that, hopefully. Joe comes down, and he spars verbally with The Rock, and The Rock says, well, I've got something in mind for you. Even though we took the title off of you at Hard Justice, I'm not finished with you yet. We then followed up with a tag team match. The Brainbusters took on the Haas Brothers. And ironically, Russ Haas is not the legal man for most of this match. Charlie goes to tag in, and Ross punches him in the face. Russ Haas now joins the Vision, and he essentially laid down and let Lance Cade pin him, and they leave Charlie Haas left in the ring. Complete success on the turn. Charlie Haas is now a face. Russ Haas is now a heel, or still a heel, but now he's part of the Vision with The Rock. The Rock comes down. He congratulates him for joining the winning team, the People's Team, and he goes down to the ring, and he talks about the double main event today, Cena versus Lesnar, Styles versus Punk. And while he talks about it, Cena comes down. They get into a verbal spar of their own, an 88 segment rating. And as they're verbally sparring, Brock Lesnar comes from behind and broke his ass. And that's why they went to a draw, a double count on a draw. That wasn't the planned finish. It really was. But with him cracking his ass, that's going to be a fucking problem. Hopefully he's still around for the pay-per-view. Following that, Brock Lesnar continues to beat the shit out of him, even though he's got a broken tailbone. We then followed up with the main event of the evening. You have CM Punk and AJ Styles. Styles defeats Punk with a quick roll-up after being distracted by The Rock, who stood up at the entrance. Following this, Brock Lesnar and the Vision come down. They attack Styles. And Punk turn officially. I'm fine with that. I don't really care. He needed to be a face. There we go. Segment rating of 64. Bada bing, bada boom, 69. That's what we want. Injury review. He cracked his tailbone. Can be worked through. But we got to be a little careful about that. $4,336 in debt. Almost $3,000 broadcast revenue. We take those. Mid-Atlantic and Mid-South went up by 1 apiece. If I can hit the button. There we go. Hey, Josh Matthews. Billy Kidman and Vampiro. Sustained a cracked tailbone. He apparently left the ring under his own power, and he will not miss any dates. Thank God. Claudio Castagnoli has put on weight. Loki's back. And 131,000 people watched that show. I'm happy about that. Alright. I went through all of my roster. Apparently you, because I wanted you to... Yeah, you were supposed to be a month. Hold up. Yeah, the one person I wanted to, like, show as, like, an example, he's not right. Alright. I went through, and I offered everybody that I planned on keeping a deal. Everybody I planned on letting go, they got shortened to a month, or they got signed by somebody else. Hold up. There we go. Gotta fix some of these. Some of these are still a year. Exclusive written. Handshake. I keep trying to do The Rock. He refuses. Eli Skipper is exclusive written. Eric Young is now. And I also had a plan. I am kind of worried. I am kind of worried because I believe it's not 0-1. It is World 1. They're in the hole. And they are going to go out of business. There's a small part of me that wants to start a developmental thing. It's way too early for that, I know. But, yeah, starting with 10 popularity, 15 popularity is going to take up all my money. That's a $250,000 hurdle. But, World 1 is set in the tri-state area. It's got 13 popularity, and it's got a little bit more popularity elsewhere. And I think we could cut everybody, because they only run the one show every month, which, to be fair, the one show costs them a lot of money. Send down some developmental talent, And so that way they're off my roster, but they're still employed by me and they're still getting booked. I do still have to maintain the 50. We're down to 81 now, and that'll keep dropping. So that's my plan. And what are they gonna? They have agreed. God, I don't really want all those contracts. Are all those contracts all handshake deals? Oh, they got Barry Horowitz. I mean, that's a plus. Yeah, they are all to a man handshake deals, which is fine by me. So I'm gonna do that. That's 10% of my money, but oh god, I wonder. It's only gonna cost like $2,000-3,000, hopefully. Which we can eat. We've done it before. We can do it again. We have a good enough little bit of a nest egg. We're gonna do it. If we click off and do that, owned by TNA Wrestling. Well, first thing we're doing is we're changing your name. Where's the name? There it is. You are no longer the CEO. Who am I gonna put in charge of this? Preferably somebody I already have under contract. No. I can hire... Why can't I put Jericho in charge of this? That seems odd. Ooh. I could put Cody Rhodes, a 21-year-old guy, in charge. Can I make them the head booker? Alright, we're going to leave it at that. So cool. We've got that now. We're gonna see how that does. We're $70,000 in the hole. We're gonna keep going, and I will meet you again when I'm done with the next pay-per-view. I'll see you then. Alright, here we are at Bound for Glory. Held in front of 1,800 people, 100 people more than the previous time. Team Canada versus America's Most Wanted versus Triple X versus the Brainbusters. Fatal 4-way tag team match ends when... Fatal 4-way tag team ladder match goes on for just a hair over 14.5 minutes when Lance Cade climbs the ladder, retrieves the titles, and the Brainbusters are your new tag team champions, bringing home more gold to The Rock's vision. Speaking of The Rock, out comes... Who the hell? Out comes Dwayne, and he is in charge of making Samoa Joe's life a living hell at this point. Says that Joe is going to go through another gauntlet, and he's going to keep running him ragged until he is beaten and broken. Joe comes out, Rock powders out, and Maven comes out, the first match of the three. Joe wins in 16.5 minutes, segment rating of 42. They did not click at all. We followed up with him versus Christopher Nowinski, the debuting Christopher Nowinski, and Samoa Joe beats him as well with an Emerald Flosion. And then out comes Rikishi, making a rare in-ring appearance, and Samoa Joe beats him too. Wow, this gauntlet did not go the way The Rock wanted it to. He has won 3 straight matches. Then we follow it up with The Rock running down. First, The Rock comes out, and it's like, I got one more person for it. And he goes to announce it, and then he just stops and looks at the ring. He tosses the microphone away. He takes off his shirt and glasses and comes down to the ring and beats the bricks off of Joe, eventually pitting him with a rock bottom. As he goes to turn around, in comes CM Punk from the back, and Punk and Johnson go at it. Eventually, The Rock clotheslines Punk out of the ring. However, with The Rock looking at Punk, Joe comes up behind him, puts him in a chokehold, and chokes out The Rock, ending the segment. That is a 72 segment rating. We then follow that up with Michael Shane versus Mike Sanders, and Michael Shane wins with a diving elbow drop. 49 segment rating. We then followed that up with Styles and Cena congratulating Punk because it's like, hey, you know what? F that guy. We don't want him here anymore. And then eventually they all come to an agreement here. We're going to go kill Brock in this match. We're going to get rid of him, and then we're going to do our own thing. You know. Totally not because Lesnar's hurt. We then followed up Jeff Jarrett versus Monty Brown, a pre-booking match to get the large boost bonus. 43 segment rating, Jarrett wins. The Rock, after coming to, speaks with Batista saying, you better maintain the grip on that title. And he does. Or not. No, he doesn't. Never mind. Jason Cross loses the title, so the Vision won the tag team titles earlier on in the night, and they lose and they lose the X Division title here. Jason Cross hits a shooting star leg drop, wins the X Division championship. First pinfall loss to Batista since he showed up. 58 segment rating. We then go to the back, and Wayne is pissed. He's been choked out. He got attacked by Punk. One of his guys has lost the title, and he goes, I knew I should have put Russ in there. I knew very angry man. He looks at Brock and goes, Brock, you better not disappoint me. Oh my god. Oh, yes. Oh my god. Oh, that's a 76. Okay. Well, storyline-wise, Brock loses, so that is something to be disappointed by. That's a 76 segment rating. I will take that. I'm very happy about that. Punk retains his championship after hitting AJ Styles with a top rope pedigree. Brock got beaten pretty badly in the first part of the match. In fact, Brock goes up to do his own shooting star press, which I'm sure would have hurt him. Cena punches him. They start climbing up the cage, and eventually Cena forces Brock to go over, and Brock go fight down on the floor of the cage, and that's when Punk is able to hit Styles with this move. Cena's barely able to get him through the door and go to try and stop it, but it's too late. 76 rating. And then Punk is celebrating in the ring, just defended his title in impossible odds, and Dwayne comes out looking very pissed. A 76 show rating. Holy Christ. Alright. Woo! That's what you want to see. AJ. No, not Steve. Not Steve Corino. AJ, Brock, CM Punk. Bam. Oh my god, we made $143,000. $29,000 ticket sale, $10,000 merchandise, $132,000 in pay-per-view revenue. Everything. Oh my god, the Southeast went up by 2? I've never seen that before. Oh my god. They went up to 2. 42 to 44. Nowhere else went up by 2. I'm not going to complain. I will gladly take that. El Santanico. Jesus, your psychology is phenomenal. Oh, I'm sorry, Mick. We're gonna move on. I signed Carlito and Coda, and I got the Young Bucks on hold. What do you mean? I keep trying to sign these guys, and they're like, no, that's too long. Okay. Is a 3-month contract too long for you? This is why I hate the freelancer gimmick, because it's like that's not how they operate in real life. Like they were in Ring of Honor forever. So it's like, why all of a sudden are they like, no, we don't like being tied down. We're not going to stay in one area for too long. It's like, bitch, you were in Ring of Honor for like 10 years. Come on now. 10 years straight, no less. Alright, we got a lot going on here. Buy rate, 183,000 buys. Holy, hold on. I gotta go do something. Do these have the pay-per-view buys? No, they don't. All right, hold on. I think what was their most uh God, why do these things have like no buys? How many pay-per-view buys? God damn it, buys did TNA get? I Oh, Bound for Glory 2006 got up to 60,000. What was Genesis? Genesis, the one with Kurt Angle. Was that Genesis 2007? That 2006. Yeah, that's their highest grossing one at 60,000 pay-per-view buys. This tripled that. uh, that is what I like to see. That is definitely uh good for me. Jesus H. Christ, there's a lot of Eddie Guerrero stuff going on. Oh, and WCW's in the mix now. Eddie Guerrero is a hot commodity. I'm still over the moon on that. I cannot believe that that show did as good as it did. I am very happy. Who are the two guys I just signed? Hold on. Is there yet to be decided? Like yet to debut? All right, you are getting sent down. And Kota Ibushi, you are also getting sent down. And then when the Young Bucks get here, they're being sent down too. So that went about as perfectly as I could have possibly hoped for. That's not size, that's finance. Size, we're up at 44. We're 15 points away from hitting medium. When it comes to ticket prices, I think we're, what, 3 away? Yeah, we're 3 away from getting any more bonuses on that front. Yeah, I'm very stoked about that. That went better than I could have possibly thought it would. I mean, look at that. April, May, June. Those 3 pay-per-views. I guess, yeah, out of the top 10 shows we've ever done, February, March is not there. March really isn't there. February, April, May, June. 4 of the last 5 months pay-per-views are in our top 10 shows, so that's pretty damn good. And quite a few weekly shows are in there too. Bound for Glory 2005 is a weird one. What the hell is this show? I almost kind of want to go back and look at it, but that'll be something to do on my own time. I got to go ahead and book the next show. I will see you in just a little bit. Alright, here we are with the opening of TNA Explosion number 23, held in front of 601 people in the Southeast. We start out, CM Punk comes out, cuts promo about winning the world title back, or retaining the world title, sorry. And John Cena comes out, congratulates him, but says, if it had been a one-on-one fight, I would have won. Punk takes exception to that, and Cena gets angry towards the end. But he keeps his composure and challenges Punk to a match at the next pay-per-view. Mano a mano, and Punk tells him no and leaves with a smug smile on his face. AMW promo, just putting themselves over for their match. Mike Kenner. Oh, he's a referee. America's Most Wanted versus Chris Harris and Simon Diamond. America's Most Wanted wins, 46 rating. No tag team popped there. The Vision promo, there is a tag team match between Batista, Russ Haas against Jason Cross and Samoa Joe. Dwayne is like, this is your chance to redeem yourself, Batista, and points at Russ, this is your chance to prove that you belong here. And boy, does Russ Haas prove he belongs here by submitting Jason Cross, the X Division champion. 56 segment rating. Then we have a main event promo between Low Ki and AJ Styles before their match. Another banger. That's the second time they got a 73. Styles beats Low Ki after a 29-minute match. And that is going to be the end of that show. Financial report, $400. It's kind of a bare bones show this time, but yeah, we're close to getting that going. That's pretty good. Southwest went up by 1. Mid Atlantic, Mid South went up by 1, and I can't be too mad. Southeast didn't go up, so I mean it went up twice on that's how good the previous show was, so I can't be too angry. This guy's almost got 100 in all those skills. All right. Briscoes. Hey, finally the fucking Briscoes are here. 146,000 people. Eddie Guerrero still getting stuff going on. Ken Shamrock got injured. That's all right. Where is Jay Briscoe, Mark Briscoe? Jay Briscoe can go down right away. He doesn't want to. I hate to tell you, Jay, you are not really in a position to say yes or no to that. Mark Briscoe, you're heading down. And then I'm going to make a tag team for between you guys. Oh, it's already made, so that's good. Alright, so there's that. We have one more show before the end of the month. We are sitting at $66,000 in profit as of now. We've got one more show to go, and then we will be done with the month show-wise, and we'll get to the end of the month, and that's the halfway point, so we'll see how things are looking like for all of the awards. So I will see you in just a minute. Alright, here we go. TNA Explosion number 24. Very different number. Held for the 615 people. We got Chris Hero coming out, cutting a promo. Maddie's not getting any TV time. Maddie's hasn't been getting many matches. Out comes Guy Fieri, actually Steve Carino, who's like, the hell are you talking about? You know, you've been on TV more than I have. Then they go out, they have a fight, ends in a double draw, and the referee can't control either one of them because they're beating each other up pretty bad. Eventually, once weapons and stuff get up, the referee just throws out the match, and their fighting continues until they're separated by security. We then follow that up with a Team Canada promo. They're in the ring. They're demanding another their rematch for the tag team titles. Out comes Triple X, telling them that shut up, we're gonna beat you up, and then they do. Pretty easily. 53 segment rating. El Generico was actually the weakest link. Goodbye. Here we have a triple threat match promo coming up, giving them just some mic time, so that way they can be used and whatnot, so that way they don't get mad at me for not being on the show. It's 48 segment rating. Matt Morgan wins after he pinned Michael Shane. Speaking of, oh god, this is not a good promo. This is the thing I was ending it on. We had no Dwayne on this show, no AJ. We gave him a week off. We'll see how it goes, because I had this storyline in mind. Jason Cross comes out, crows about having the title, saying he beat Batista, and that, yeah, Russ Haas beat him last week, but that was in a tag team match. In a straight-up match, he beat him. Russ comes out to figure that out. And what ends up happening is in the match, Charlie Haas returns and attacks his brother, and the match gets thrown out. Russ Haas wins by disqualification, and the fight continues after the fact. That was a 55. 2,600 $2,600 loss, and we get 1 point in the Northeast. It could have been worse. Could have been better. I didn't want to keep using those guys. Eventually, I know that they're per month, and it's probably makes sense to use them every single week. But at some point, you gotta pull back a minute. Gotta give them a minute to just relax. 129,000 people, so a little bit of a dip in the broadcast revenue, which did not meet last month's, but I digress. Now we're going to go ahead and sim to the end of the month, and we're going to see how the middle of the year shakes out. Alright, and here we are at the end of the month, beginning of July. We have the awards so far. However, Jeff Jarrett wrestled, and Joey Abs of the Mean Street Posse fame has won the NWA World Heavyweight title, beating Jeff Jarrett. Kota Ibushi, I think we already talked about that one. We placed first again. Now without further ado, let's go over. Like normal, Triple H is the odds-on favorite to win that award this year. WWE is the odds-on favorite. Chris Jericho and Lance Storm, Thrill Seekers, ECW time. Match of the year so far is Edge and Kurt Angle beating Guerrero and Big Show. Show of the year is WCW Stampede. Female wrestler of the year is cheerleader Melissa, who we had on the roster, and don't anymore. Male young wrestler of the year so far is Petey Williams, who we also had on the roster and isn't here anymore. Female veteran Chigusa Nagayo, I don't know how to pronounce that. Very butchered it. Is in running for the female veteran wrestler of the year. Al Snow, male veteran wrestler. Female wrestler Chyna. Male independent wrestler is Ultimo Guerrero. Female independent wrestler is Lacey, another person we had on roster and let go. So definitely a lot going on there. Let's see. We made $56,000. That is not bad. Did we not take anything negative from this? You guys shouldn't have. You guys got like the Samoans that you already had under contract. We're at 78. As long as we stay above that, we'll be fine. Where is it? Pro Wrestling. That's why I turned it into Impact Wrestling. Yep, Impact Pro. They lost $600. So as long as they're a little bit more frugal, they should be fine. At least they should. Since broadcasting deal, they'll be on what is not being done here. Skip it. Oh, viewing figure. No, we already looked at viewing figures. That's fine. Last show was a 31. Not a good show. By any stretch of the imagination. Alright, well, I guess we'll see how that works out in the next episode. Because I guess technically that stayed the same. And they started off with 0 debt. So now finances are 0. We didn't lose anything. I don't... Oh, we actually gained $1,000. We'll take that. Sounds good to me. Actually, I guess since we're here, pay-per-view revenue was up tremendously, $30,000. Ticket sales were about the same. Broadcast revenue was down, sponsors were down, and merchandise was down. But the pay-per-view is really what sealed the deal there. We also spent less money on workers, less money on show costs, which is surprising me. Production's a little less, and we did have to spend $56,000 or $57,000 to get a developmental territory, which is still pretty cheap in the long run. I don't know if there's anybody else. That was the only company that was like in danger of going bankrupt. What the? Oh, that's yeah. I just made them. I think technically you're worse. Yeah, you're actually somewhat worse, but you do have Terry Funk, so you got that going for you. I don't know if there's anywhere else. Oh. Yeah, that spot, but they're not too far out. Could I, like... Yeah, they're not in a bad enough spot. They're not getting any warnings. Actually, here, you know what? Since I'm here, I don't think you guys are in that bad a shape. Yeah, no. So that was the only thing I could have taken over, and it was $57,000. So if you take that away, we actually made over $100,000. So that was pretty good. Well, I'm curious as to like what changed, because we've been losing money. I made that big gamble, and we still made a ton. Oh well, I'll take it. That'll be the end of this episode. We've actually got Unbreakable in 2 weeks, which means just 2 shows up until that point. So this will be a really front-loaded month, I guess. Actually, while I'm here, before I finish it, should I move some of this back? Yeah, we got a couple like that are in the middle of the month. It's kind of weird, but oh well. Unbreakable is up next. And I will see you guys again in the next episode. Have a good night.